left the church because of some of the things that were happening in the church, and I went out to seek God, and I would pray and say, God, please, where can I worship and praise you in a way that's going to honor you and that's going to honor my being here on planet Earth. And I moved from Christianity. I tried Rastafarianism, and I left at the time because they said women cannot be priests. And I tried other things, but I never committed. And I think that's when I made a decision to become a spiritualist. Then I went into panAfricanism and to Black consciousness very deeply, where at the time it was, I wouldn't buy anything. I would buy material and make my own clothes. I started dreads in the 90s when they were not popular, when we didn't have any products to make natural hair. So I've been through a journey, right? And I went, and I remember when I was deeply in panAfricanism, I met my dear friend. We've been friends since I was 22. So I am 42 this year. So it means I've been friends with him for 20 years. His name is Anton Richmond, and I met him. And at the time I was like, Africa for Africans, Europe for Europeans. And I tested him so much to see if he was one of the white people, the white supremacists that we were studying and reading about in the classes, and he wasn't. And I was really conflicted of, how do I want to paint everyone with the same paintbrush? But I have this friend, and we are still friends right now. Even now we have these difficult conversations around race, racism, and so forth. And I remember then there was a point where I was very suicidal because I was going through deep depression, and don't ask me, nothing was happening. I was married to uMkhulu. Because my life was okay. It wasn't as great as it is now, but it was okay. But I always felt empty, and like my life was so meaningless. And a dear friend of mine who's late now introduced me to a counselor who was a reverend, and I was resistant because I thought she was going to tell me to go back to church. I've been like backslidden. Those of us who come from charismatic Christianity know what the term backslidden means. And I was like, but I went to her, and she taught me spirituality within Christianity, because she was never come to church. No, she really counseled me. She actually helped me understand that my Sangoma calling was God's gift. You're not late, you're on time, KB. I hope you guys are listening to my story. So fast forward to their tribe members. Then I was on a quest and on a journey of understanding the African God, and African spirituality came to me when I became a Sangoma. And when I graduated, I thought African spirituality was all about ubungoma until later on, because then I started being stuck in endumbeni, and I was like, why is it that some people imithi, iyasebenza, and some people imithi, ayisebenzi? Why is it some people see through their treatments and that some people don't see through their treatments? And this is what led me to become a helolife teacher. And then I went on a course studying metaphysics, and then I went on to relationship coaching as well, and I studied that for a year. Then I did my work with joy, and the work with joy was a catalyst, because then I started to understand that irrespective of how powerful interventions are, which I knew when I did the TED Talk, right? Because at the time when I broke up with uMkhulu, and this is the big lesson, and I want you to pay attention, and don't go yet. I want you to pay attention to this. Even though we know things, but because of the programs, the templates that are running, we are running on an auto program. When there is a situation, we respond from what we know. We don't respond sometimes from our place of truth. We don't respond from our place of honesty and our place of integrity. We respond from our traumas. And when I separated with uMkhulu because there was infidelity, there was a lot going on in our marriage, and I responded from my trauma response. And this is where I started to evoke a certain ancestral spirit, which we will call resistant, that I break up uMkhulu and that I leave the relationship. Yet I started to understand that Mrs. M was my shadow. Because I didn't know, I know now. I didn't know how to create my own boundaries. I didn't know how to speak up when I'm uncomfortable, because my trauma response is people pleasing or I would want to fight. I was a fighter or a people pleaser. So in the pain and the hurt of the marriage, I actually became a fighter. And Mrs. G was a fighter because she would speak of everything that I wasn't able to speak. Why am I teaching you this, guys? I am saying, please note, there is a thin line between ancestors of light and ancestors of false light. And the false light ancestors are actually aggravated or activated by our own shadows, by our own traumas. So unhealed situations and unhealed experiences will come through as if the ancestors are asking for. I would say Mrs. M was part of my personality, because I'll tell you this, since me and Kulu then separated and then I started dating the people that she was suggesting that I date, she disappeared. She never came back. Actually, she served me because she's the one who propelled me to take on the journey of my mother's healing, because I initiated my paternal side. So I needed to go to mosque to initiate my maternal side. My maternal side is the side that is connected to the church. So Mrs. M was also gifted me, but Mrs. M misled me because I could have easily said to uMkhulu, F you. What the F have you done? I could have spoken my mind. I could have said things. But what I'm saying is that too much of being in your shadow also brings up a greater the falsehood of ethos. And this is what we see in African spirituality, where people will say the ancestors are saying, or the ancestors want, or they are forcing me to. As much as I've always believed, tribe, that I am not held at hostage, but I was very fearful. I never had a relationship of respecting because of my religious indoctrination. I still had a religious relationship with my ancestors, where I felt that my dishonor and my disrespect will equate to being punished by them. So where am I right now in my journey as Dineo and as Gogo Dineo? I'm at a point where I honor the ancestors who are in alignment with my higher self. So my higher self is my God version of self, right? So Bakona, they are within here. So what I'm saying is that we forget that we've incarnated as human beings, ne? And by incarnating as human beings, we are here to have a human experience. So meaning that spirit can't dictate. It needs to allow us to go through the human experience so it can better self-actualize and realize. You know what I'm saying? Because without the human experience, then the soul is not going to evolve. You are not going to break karmic debts. You are not going to break generational curses. You need the human flawed experience. But what we do is that sometimes we can't distinguish between the flawedness of the human and what true light spirit is communicating to us. Because I know even when I got into the relationships that Mrs. M would recommend that I get into, my inner self was like, this is not going to work. This is not going to work. But I was in a fearing relationship with my ancestors, and I was in an angry state of being as a woman because of what happened in my marriage. Are you tribe follow? There was a little bit of a pause there. Let me see if there's comments or questions, right? Okay, Pabi, I've answered your question. There's light and shadow in everything. Okay, maybe because I never what really, because 5 years, 2 years later, like, that was really stupid of me. That was a stupid action. Because when we are hurting, who shows up is our already wounded inner child. We go back to familiar responses. We respond from trauma, not from reason. Yeah. And I see it with people who also sometimes feel propelled to their time has come to initiate because they're looking for an escape, not realizing that actually when you are escaping, it will catch up with you. So I've gotten to a point of understanding that I have come full circle, but as the circle completes, a new one begins again. This is where I'm at with things, is I've come to a place of true contentment, if that makes sense, where I can actually be okay I've had my hair like this for 2 months now. I have not done my hair because I've been nurturing it back to life. So I'm only gonna plait tomorrow. But I've become okay. If you could see, my hair has grays. So maybe this is a beautiful filter, but there's a lot of grays on my hair. I have not done my eyelashes, and not that I won't go back, but there's a lot of things that I had to kind of strip off myself to really go back to myself, to really understand who is Dineo, who is Dineo, because Gogo Dineo is a role, guys. Being the teacher is a role that one day might be exhausted. Then what happens to Dineo? And I feel like when we come into the public space, people don't also understand how we get overwhelmed by the demands of being in the media space. And most of us go through those things. And I realize and I give gratitude and thanks to, because guys, things will fall apart. People will fall away because those people have served their season. And this is one of the things you need to understand. Everybody comes into your life for different purposes. The roots will never leave you. They will never change who and how they relate to you, irrespective of the seasonal changes that you go through. So for me is like, that's how, going through that 3-year separation of uMkhulu, I knew that uMkhulu was my root, because never, ever once did you hear uMkhulu speak ill of me. One. Never, ever once did you hear uMkhulu go on social media and lash out. Never or ever once did uMkhulu even leave Impande. Every mkiti, he was there while I was with my bae. Guys, that's what, and it's not about wrong or right. And he got called names. There were things about ngimdlisile and ngimthakathile and all sorts of things. Why can he leave? And all of those. But that's what a root does. A root doesn't change because the branch of a tree has fallen off. A root does not leave the tree. It's the tree that cuts itself from the root. Get that? A root does not leave the tree. It's the tree that cuts itself from the root. Right? So for me, that was, and the more, and I could still go to him with my man issues, and he would not even be biased and tell me I chose wrong. He would be empathetic and he would listen. He would only say, I told you and these kings that your people want, because they all get infatuated by Gogo Dineo, but they don't know Dineo. I met uMkhulu 23 years ago. 23 years ago. That's when me and him met. And we've been together for 19 years this year. 19 years we've been in a relationship. So he knows all aspects of me. He even knows my transitioning point of being Maria to being Dineo. So for me, it was I knew, right? My other route was my mom. Right, my mom and I have been through the most, to a point where I wasn't really talking to her, and I even get emotional, and where she was isolated from my work, and and it was hectic, guys. Those 3 years are hectic. The reason I'm sharing this is that let's not see people post, let's not see people look good and shine and radiate, and we think they're doing good. There's a lot behind the scenes that happens. It takes a lot for people to even get up in the morning. But that life, my life in that 3 years, it was chaotic. And I will still show up and do the streams. I will still show up and do my work. But I've always known that I don't want to position myself as perfect, because then I'm not leaving room for growth. So I've never come and become a perfect human being and a perfect teacher and the one that knows it all, and I know, and I am. I feel like the tribe that is here right now and that follows me is the tribe that follows how real I've been. and how vulnerable I've been and how I've been of my mistakes, because I have not came here to teach you perfection, but I've come here to teach you that it's okay. Do not beat yourself up when you have missed the mark, which is what sin basically means. It's about missing the mark. But we are ought to sin because we are here as spirit to explore this human life. We are here to explore this human life. So these are the things I wanted to touch on in terms of ancestors, guys. You can be misled in the name of idlozi. You ought to be able, and this is what I recommend. When you know you've been through the most in life and you've been struggling, invest in inner child healing. Because when your inner child is healing, because they don't heal completely, your level of awareness is much more clearer. You've got clarity and sanity of things. You are making rational decisions, not reactionary decisions. When your inner child when you are in a state of awareness, you are not making decisions to follow trends or to respond to your discomforts or to your places of unsafety, but you respond to move towards greatness. I didn't convince, Moilonu, I can't say your name, my apologies. I did not convince anyone. When I took up my calling, I took it because at the time I knew that it was the only last thing I could try out. And for me, my mother didn't believe that I was gifted. She thought I was acting out. That's one of the reasons that me and my mother had a very difficult relationship. It's because she thought Neki gets Isa. So my husband is the one. Guys, when I'm saying uMkhulu is my root, that's what I mean. I remember in 2010 where the depression was real, where I would lock myself in our bedroom for 3 days non-stop. All I would do is sleep, not bath, not want to talk to anyone, and I would cry and cry. And when I would come out of that state, he would still be the gentleman that he is. And I'm like, baby, please take me back to Tara, because I stayed 6 months in Tara in 1999. So, and I said, take me there. And he said, you are not insane. You are gifted. You just have to do the things like Dineo uhambu your trust. That's what he would say. He refused to get me mentally committed because he knew that I was gifted. His support meant everything to me. Even though my parents were, my dad was the one who would be saying to my mom, she's gifted. Because remember, I came from a Christian background. So I didn't go a Epichan because I needed to convince somebody. I went because I needed to get better. I went, one, because I knew for sure where I was going was a place I was sent to. Because one, I dreamt of this woman and I didn't know her. Number two, before I went to a house, I went into a trance and they described the things I will find in the house to confirm that that's the right place for me to go. So when I was there, the harder it got, the more motivated I needed to stay, because I knew I had no place to go. I knew I'm not going to leave Ukobelawam because I knew that I had no any other place. She was meant to initiate me, and it was hard because she stripped me, because it's through the initiation where I saw most of my wounds, because my wounds, my insecurities, we had to bath in a shared space, and all of us had to be naked. I needed to see my stretch marks, my big arms, my everything was there. And that is what led me. I only wore sleeveless tops, guys, post Tuktoas. Can you imagine? I never used to wear sleeveless tops. So I knew with conviction that my Kobela was my Kobela. You know who she was? She was my mother. She really opened up my mother issues to the core. And when I was healing my relationship with my Kobela, I was healing my relationship with my mother. So she was brutal. In that brutality, I am grateful. I'm not even gonna be like, no, there's things that she could have done differently, but she gave me what she could with what she knew. But I am still very grateful to her, and I still sing Yabonga, because there is a lot I have become because of being initiated by her. I am Gogo Dineo now because that's where I got in my foundation. I got my foundation in Soweto right? So that's where I got my foundation. She taught me ukuthanda. One, she taught me to understand ukuthi ukuba isangoma, you must be presentable, because she said to me, you need to make people aspire to become like you, not really reject who you are becoming, because how you are showing it off and how you are presenting it. My Kobela would even encourage me to wear baby cologne when I go to the office, and even say, put on earrings, put on lip gloss, Kechani. Do this so that Idlozi, you work with people, you want them to be like wowed by your initiation process. And I then was like, I'm not comfortable, guys. I don't like wearing layers of amapai. Honestly, I don't. That's how I started making outfits. And she was like, great, do it. And then I did it. My Kobela is the one who taught me quality over quantity. Well, I still love buying lots of things, but she was that type of Kobela. She had a closet where there was amapai wasekhaya and amapai wokhamba. Speeds, guys. I mean, in 2010, Speeds was the Gucci of the township, right? So, who I have become and showed up as a Sangoma, I learned it from her. Because what she used to say to me is, I am going to give you tough love. I'm not going to babysit you. And I was the first grandchild of hers. But she really, and for the fact that I came by through a dream to her, because I was the only initiate that dreamt of her. I've never worked with her previously. So she was hard. And she was like, you don't know what I see, but I see what I see in you, and you don't see it for yourself. And I'm going to make sure you see it. And it was the Gogo Dineo that she saw. It was the greatness that she saw. Because Mina, I had patients when in Sasepele who would come. I worked ngisebenza wonke umuntu bengisebenza naye, ngahamba ngayobethela umuzi kaboss wami, nge-red scared. And she would say to me, she would even refuse to teach me things and say, bathini bagini sikhume ngempinda ngitshela impinda ngithi Kobela, mina I don't know mpinda. Athi hey, mina I'm supposed to spoon feed you of everything. So you see, I knew Guti, and when I healed, and there were things that were not really okay, and I went back and I spoke to her. I had a conversation with her, because one of the things that I needed her most is when I was going through the separation with uMkhulu, because I needed an elder's advice. But I don't think I would have still listened, because my shadow was just so present at the time that, even Abadala, when they were speaking to me. So the other thing that I've learned, guys, is that just because uthwasile does not give you spiritual wisdom. Just because uthwasile doesn't mean you know everything, because age does count. Sometimes our elders are right, even though it doesn't look right at the time that they're guiding us. Sometimes they are right. Because I was told not to leave the marriage, and I was like, they were not right, but there was some truth in what they said. So they could have easily said, no, separate maraninga hambin jola, separatani, hamban for counseling, rather than force us to come together, because I don't think we would have worked. It would have been a hard breakup, whereas ours was a beautiful breakup. I mean, those who've seen us, if I was looking through my videos and I'm like, go to my stories, go look at my stories after, you'll see there's a video I posted at the time when uMkhulu and I were separated, but you can't say. You really can't say, because when we were at work, we would the synergy and the chemistry was so strong that one of my friends was, our bed, uMkhulu is one of my friends said, no, you guys are giving your people, meaning the people who were dating at the time, a hard time, because we would be one, we would come together. And that's what I mean, that it's that I've seen when Miss Pingani, I think, yes, what I've seen is that abantu abathwasile have so much arrogance that they're not willing to learn or hear. Thina abathwasile sina arrogance. We've got what we call spiritual ego, and we don't speak about spiritual egos quite often, but it is a disease that has infested healers, especially African healers. I'm talking about African healers because I can't speak of other people because I'm not in their world. In our world, ubungomeni, there is so much spiritual ego I know it all. I can't be called to order. I can't be corrected. I can't be given advice. I can't. But I know too much. It's the ones who know everything and trying to correct everyone. Correct everyone. Ukita wrong. Ungakiti ngekathulo. Why ukita ngemfiso eso. These are the know-it-all. And we don't understand that it's a super spiritual ego. It's a super spiritual ego. This is what has made us to be competitive. These are the ones who sit and then compete and compare and the minute batu ukoko dino atanga ngitsheni ngokoko dino ohambe wachola no spanban. You know, it's like it's a disease, guys. It's a disease. It's the ones who want to be seen all the time. We don't understand. But that the spiritual ego is charged by our shadows. The need to be relevant, the need to be seen, the need to trend has become a disease. Ubungoma. We have become so hungry for fame that we have stopped listening to wisdom. And so is the generation that's coming here. They are looking at who is the Gogo that's relevant, who is the Gogo that's doing that. Like, even if you are born umuntu apeta, marozofunu supporter because who Gogo icon. Mena, it's fine. When people say to me, Gogo la upetile, I'm like, cool. One thing though, when it comes to my spiritual gift, guys, this is not a community project. I don't need people's consent because meling trapala. Meng trapega uko wenu lelempeten wako mena meng pizla paya zingbuyela zinkhalela. You're not there. Because you see, that's what I say, Guti. We need to be working as healers to build our characters, not our reputation. Because reputation changes, guys. How somebody perceives you today. You come in endumbeni ngiyahlola uhlangana nabo G uhlangana nabo banbani nabo Mrs. M lapaya and you're like, oh my god, Gogo Dineo is so rude. Dineo is like this. You know, uhlangana name China Mall, guys. I'm not in my best mood. You know, actually today, let me tell you today at gym. So in the changing room, this lady says, oh, my mother loves you so much. Can I please take a picture of you? I'm like, hi bo, echimini, siyakumula. And I'm like, okay, let me compromise. Let's take a selfie because then it's half a picture. But you see what I'm saying? But I remember there was one time this lady asked me for a picture and I was in a hurry and I was going somewhere and I was like, I can't. But then you'll come and say, plus she's rude. She never wants to take pictures. We've made her, we've built her. You've contributed, guys. Nobody makes anyone. Makes anyone. We are children's God's children, God's children. So reputation but because you will leave to people please. You see, I was so trapped in my trauma response of people pleaser that my reputation was so important that I always, you know, when somebody says, oh manje Gogo, they were talking about you on this life, I'm like, I good amakhulume. It doesn't change the weather. That's what my sister to me says sissy, is if it doesn't change the weather, let's move on. You know, and sometimes umuntu uzoti or like, oh, did you see this? They were talking. I'm like, hey, don't even send me, guys, things of who was saying what about me or who take me on Twitter. I'm actually into by show you. Because half of the things people are saying, those people don't even know me. They've never had an experience of me. They've had an experience of me second-hand information. There are always two sides to a story. And the third one is probably the truth, because I will tell you my version, they will tell you their version, then there's the truth in the middle. So I am not going to be bothered by people's perceptions of me. Reputation is how people perceive you. Character is what we need to build, because character is your nature. So if you have moved away from your nature because you've been traumatized, then heal so that you can return to your nature. There are people whose nature is unkind, is rude, is disrespectful. We are born ukhule anjalo. But there's people who've become rude because they had to learn to protect themselves. And the only way protection could occur is rudeness. I hope you are following me. So I know my character. I know good my character. One thing is, even those who know me, menkwatile guys, and ngizokwata bese ngiyasho lento ngisho, then I move on. That's me. I don't know how to fake a smile. I don't know how to fake a love. That's why even when people say I love you, I can't just be like, oh, I love you too. No, it's like, gotta feel it to say it, you know. I can't fake things, you know. So I can't even fake an orgasm, guys. I'm not like, I don't know how to fake and I can fake not enjoying sex. So I don't know how to fake those things. Okay, gotta have to stop talking about sex. My mother is here. Mother is in the hills. Mommy is here. So my mom is here. So I can talk about bedroom issues, but I can't fake. My mother knows. She's here. When I'm angry and I'm upset. And once I express it, that's it. And when I'm wrong, I say I am wrong. And I apologize and I take my mistakes. But I am not going to be making excuses over things or trying. You know, I got somebody today asked me, they are initiating and was saying to me, I need you as a friend. And I'm like, we've never had a relationship of that nature. I can't help you as a friend. I gotta be honest. Our relationship has been Gogo, Dineo, and you, right? So I can't even interfere with your process because you are under somebody else's guidance. Please ask somebody else. I will not hold space for you as a friend. I have learned, guys. I have learned. Even when people say, yeah, I'm rude and go right, guys, go right. So you see, this is what healing does. Healing returns you to your true nature. An unhealed you will have you operating from your nature. Your nature is what you've been taught. Even if it's wrong, but because it's a program that's running. If you go onto your computer and you say Shift F, even if you meant to say G, it will give you capital letter F. It won't change. It's being programmed like that. So to deprogram the computer, we must change the hardware. So the hardware are the belief systems that you carry, that you have been taught about yourself. So you cannot be a better person. If you're struggling to become a better person, hardware is malfunctioning. You are being failed by your hardware. If you are finding yourself falling for projects, when you are the fixer of the people in your life, you are fixing the men that are coming into your life, you are a bank account for people in your life, when that you have to better beyond your measure and your financial capacity, that means something in your hardware is programmed to attract such. Yeah, my skin has been really good, so I've went back to doing monthly facials, but I steam at Jimini, I drink water, I eat. Yeah. Bunang says you are popped the pill. I like that you are Pop the Builder. Yes, I was Pop the Builder, guys. I would even build initiates who want to go, and I would be like, no, don't go. Hey, it was. I'm like, hey, I told you before. You want to go? All right. We're just gonna write you a letter of release. If you've paid my school fees, I'll perform all the rituals and uMkhulu ngenhliziyo emhlophe and angikulandeleli shem. I will not. So even with friendships, even with things, we gotta learn, guys. We gotta learn. We keep on being hurt because we are hurting ourselves by going where it hurts, because we are not. You know, it's being. Yo, you made my day, Batu. Yo, Bunangar Pop. You know, Rebo Shira, you know, we are agents of help. We are heroes and messiahs, and it's not solving anything and helping anything. Like I said, I don't know. People, Evodia, let's get to Evodia. Gotta have some few chuckles, right? It can't be all serious all the time. Spiritual egos. That's a nice topic. I'll look into it. Yes.
Yeah.
So what did you want to ask, or what did you want to join the live for?
Gogo, for me, I wanted to just check because right now I have recently understood that I have so many gifts.
Okay.
And the challenge that I have been having so far is that where do I start? What
So,
is
Gogo,
it that
when you
I
say
must do?
recently, how old are you, Gogo?
45.
Gogo. It's either recently it's been confirmed that you have gifts, not you've just found out. Hi, Gogo. Kimaka. I'm gonna tell you on live Instagram, you are lying. You are gonna Pop the Builder. Pop the Builder to the excuse maker when it has to come to them building their lives. Pop the Builder. At 45, you just found out. At 45, you got a confirmation. Because you were
Yeah, it
busy
is.
building other people and other lives there instead of building yourself. Because healers are builders. Because they're running away from their own building projects. They're busy building other people's houses.
That is so correct. That is so true. That is so true, Gogo. And the fact that my mom, I know where everything started. And I was a born again Christian, by the way. And some of the African spirituality stuff, as much as I was practicing and helping my mom, it was like, oh, okay, it's you, it's not me. So I never really understood that whatever that I was doing, I was actually being part of that. And
I don't only Jesu. When I only Jesu, when you are busy redeeming people,
amen,
them find
amen.
as if Jesus. Can't you watch this thing? Karuna Bazalwani looking, finding Jesus. I don't remember Jesus leaving a memo that people must find him because he's gonna get lost. He did say that he's ascending to heaven, and he said, "In my Father's house there are many mansions." So why are we looking for him and finding Jesus?
I really don't know. And only when my mom passed 2 years ago, I then understood, because she also told me stuff that only after her passing, I then understood, oh, okay, this is what she was mentioning. I mean, she's meaning this. So that is when I say, that's why I'm saying maybe it is definitely a confirmation. And now I am slowly but surely trying to understand what to do from now. What is it that I
well,
must do?
Gogo, the advice I can give you is that when you are from Bob the Builder and from Finding Jesus Missions, because there's already a lot of indoctrination there that is going to make it difficult for you to understand some of the messages that you're getting from the spiritual, like interpreting your dreams and all of that. I get Usanali Bob the Builder and Usanali the mission of Jesus. So
Yes.
those things can really distort your understanding of your journey. Find a mentor. Find a mentor. The role of a mentor is one who guides you until the ancestors can reveal to you what you need to do with the gift itself. So the mentor is the one that will help interpret your dreams. The mentor is the one that will help check things for you when you are confused. The mentor is the one who can say, okay, for this to be revealed, you need to do this. So that's what mentoring is a guide, right? Is the guide that helps you understand the messages that are coming from the ancestors.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, thank you so much, Gogo.
Okay.
Thank you. We'll do that.
You just look for an ex, Gogo. No, initiation is rough when you are older because limangweli. But I get a real busy the projects about Bob the Builder. Let's go to Elizabeth and hear what Elizabeth has to say. Bomgazi, please write the booking details if you're still here and other tribe members so we can give
Hello. Thokoza Gogo.
Thokoza Gogo guy.
Kiteng guy.
Kiteng Gogo.
Gogo. I've been having dreams since I was a teenager, and usually what happens is that everything that I dream, it's a hal. Even if it's after 2 years, but it's a hal exactly the same way. If I can dream of something happening maybe to you or to anyone else, that does happen. And what happen is that sometimes I find myself in places whereby I'm like, but it's like I've been here before. But I've never been there. But it's like I've been here, man. This is like a repetition to me. It's like I've been here before.
Bob the Builder. When we are a denialist. So your trauma response is basically the one who denies, So you are in denial that you are gifted. That's the only way. There's Gogo. Why would you dream of things when they happen? What do we call that? Magic or kebuloi?
don't know, maybe they're accurate.
No, but what is it? What is it, Gogo? Because not everybody dreams. You know,
So
do your children dream and
the
things happen? Does your partner dream and things happen? Does your sister dream?
No.
So what do we say when people have those things? We say they have a gift. I get mpo, ufilwe mpo, right?
Yes.
Yes, I wanna pop the pillow to me. So refilwe mpo, Gogo. So when you are dreaming, it's because you are gifted. Because ufilwe I get Joseph was a dreamer in the Bible. And his gift was dreams. You could see things before they happen. You know what I'm saying? So there's nothing wrong with the gift. I think people think everyone, when we say you are gifted, they have to be a Sangoma. No. No, not everybody who has a gift. Not every gift is about being a Sangoma. Their gifts can mean many things. But then you have to connect to your ancestors because they are in the spirit world and they've got more intel that they can guide you with the gift.
Okay, now I think that's where the problem comes in for Nahe, because it's sometimes finding Jesus and all that.
Usali Google at Jesus. When now that navigation voice. How old are you?
I'm turning 40 this year.
Yeah, okay. 45. Jesus was nowhere to be found because he's already in heaven. I guess because he did say he's.
But I want to know, Gogo, what do I need to do? Because if I dream and then I don't see anything, what should I do with the gift, or what needs to happen?
It's the same thing that I was telling the previous Finding Jesus person. The problem, you are invested in being navigation for other people instead of investing in yourself. When you have a gift, you will seek a spiritual mentor who understands. It won't work. The dentist will know what's wrong with your eyes, right? You go to an optometrist. So if you are going to somebody who you'll probably look for, and this would be, and I'm gonna be direct, a Sangoma that is gifted or more profita in interpretation of dreams. Most likely also somebody who is a Kobela, because they understand, because they work with dreams all the time. And it doesn't mean you'll find your right person once off. You might have to go see 2 or 3 people until you find the right one. I can go Jesus Google pathway. Well, understand, until you can find somebody who can actually you can resonate with. Go with somebody who can resonate with, somebody who's going to work with your pace, not their pace, somebody who's not going to threaten you or intimidate you. You're already from the trauma of, if you don't find Jesus, you'll end up in hell. So we need to rewire that brain that believes in punishment, in hell, in the angry God, in the gods that doesn't like their ancestors. You see, we can't then want a healer. Don't go to healers who are intimidating and are using threats of, if you don't, your ancestors will show you flames. You need somebody who can actually gently also help you reprogram your hardware, your born and re-enter you into your Africanness in a way that does not feel like you are defaulting or you are faulting God. I might even suggest maybe do some coaching work there. That might be very helpful to get into your that deprogramming of the system. Is that making sense?
Yes, Gogo, you are making sense. Thank you very much. Maybe I need to get someone or connect maybe with my ancestors also, so that I can find my purpose in that line.
Yes, and not somebody if you don't do this, the ancestors Gogo. Bauki, they are following the same Google Find Me. They are the ancestors' Google Maps. They feel like they have the pathway. No. Gogo, I can only say Gogo, but it's so, right? But when people say, Gogo, if I don't want to toss, I'm like, well, because the gift doesn't come from the ancestors. That's one. It comes from God. So you are born, it's inbuilt in you, right? It's inbuilt in you, Gogo, the gift. The ancestors have been assigned as your guides. So if life is struggling, they are not punishing you. It's struggling because you've not been listening to your dreams. They've been coming to guide you and you've been ignoring them. If your car, Gogo, or a breaker and the bricks are not breaking, it's warning you that I'm failing. If you don't fix the brakes and then you get into an accident, are you gonna blame the car?
No.
But why do we blame the ancestors? Why?
Yeah.
Well, understand, we blame the ancestors for everything. They are
For
demanding,
everything.
they are this, they
And-
want goats, they want cows.
And mostly for everything that's going wrong.
Exactly. Because that's the religious programming that is running in our psyche. That's the Jesus Google network that's running in our psyche. One, understand, I am not Christian, Gogo. I run a church. I read the Bible. But I don't want to call myself Christian because that is some sort of motivation. I can say I am aspiring to be Christ-like, meaning the enlightened. I am on a path of enlightenment. When you are enlightened is when you know you are one with God and you are a physical manifestation of God. Then God is not there to dictate either. God has given you free will. And God says, be wise and choose life. God gives you an army of ancestors to guide you in choosing life. Then you don't choose life. Then you choose death, and then you suffer the consequences of death. Why are we blaming God and the ancestors? You acted on your free will.
That's true, Gogo.
Okay, amen.
Thank you, Togoza Gogo.
Yes, thank you. I know today ke mo rifi ke tlile ka di AK-47 le di hand grenades tsa spirituality, you know, because I'm in a good place. So do you see, tribe, that if I am in a good place, I'm able to gift from the heart? Because if I'm tired and that ke fela le ke pelo, yeah, I Google Jesus and Google ancestors, bo know it all about re ba bangata, you know, asibo Jesus fela, re ba bangata shem. Justin Johnson. There are people who also feel like they're the only ones who've got the keys to the ancestors' world. No one else. uMkhulu.
How are you, my sister?
I'm good, and how are you?
I'm fine. I'm not sure of the topic, but I had a question in relation to initiation.
Oh no, the topic is an open line, so you are welcome to ask anything.
Okay. My question was going to be in reference to like parents or family members, specifically the mothers, who try to use their energy to block you or to stop you from moving forward with initiations, like to help the family.
Yeah. So, you know, our parents do things, can tamper with our body. They can tamper with our minds, but they can't tamper with our spirit. Spirit will always remain intact, right? So what can they do? Maybe they can send things to us to, you know, disturb us, make us unwell. And because when we are unwell, we're unable to connect to spirit. They can tamper with our mind by feeding our minds with programs that are moving us away from our gifts. But they can't steal your gift. They can't tamper with spirit, because spirit remains as the pure essence of who you are, and nothing can be tempered there. So that's the answer that I'm going to give you. So don't be thinking that somebody's doing something to your gift. No, they're doing something to you. You know, they either doing things to help you fear them and be afraid of them and start to be guarded, rather than start to actually be listening to the guidance of spirit and, you know, continue fighting battles with them. Because the more you are in fights, the more you're not allowing for transmutation and information from the spirit world. So
well, let's just say,
yeah,
it's like my mother intentionally has worked with someone else. She's in choosing to be on the darker side of things, unknowingly to herself, and is merging with someone who was pretending to be a friend of mine that I was coming to work with to help her in my family line as well. But now they're knowingly knowing that I'm the one that's called to initiate, to do this work, that now all of a sudden, right before that time has come, like I've had all kind of random things, car wrecks left and right, like different things that happen to try to like end me, essentially. And I know that the mothers have the ability, like you said, to tamper with your body, because she controls the blood that's flowing through us.
No, she doesn't. Like no, she doesn't. No one has control. It's an illusion that we have, because the world has taught us that way. Nobody has power over you at all. We grant power by when we are at our most vulnerable. And that's why the most powerful tool of the oppressor is the mind. Because the minute they can actually make your mind believe what they want you to believe, they can do anything with you. Nobody has power over you. So also understand that sometimes things are happening to us, even though attacks are coming our way. These are part of a plan we consented to as reminders for us to do the work we need to do. So your energy must be focused on, how do I harness my gift? How do I work with the gift? What do I need to do, rather than being bothered by what my mother is doing? If it's stealing and protecting your energy fields so she can, she doesn't no longer attack you. But I have a sense with you, uMkhulu, that it's much deeper than just the gift. There is a trauma around the mother. There's a big mother wound versus just this thing. It's layers and layers, and that's why it's so hard for you to move away from from what she's doing and be able to stand on your own. It's because the mother wound is bigger than just the gift, the fighting of the gift. I hope I'm making sense.
Okay. You're saying the mother wound for me or for her?
No, your mother wound. Your wound.
Oh, my own.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
So it's not only what she's doing now, it's what she's been doing to you from growing up. It's the things that she's taught you to believe, and what you believe, and in relation to her, in relation to her power, in relation to her position as a mother. So those things are what are getting your inner child paralyzed in fear and are stopping you to move forward with the work that you need to move forward with the gift. Because she doesn't have your gift. She doesn't. She can never. You were born. It's inbuilt in you. By the time you were formed in her womb, the gift was already in it. So nobody can do anything. But people can do things to us psychologically, emotionally, and physically to stop us activating the power that is inside. Because false programs is what makes us move away from the power. That's why I'm saying the power, the most powerful weapon the oppressor has is your mind. And we need to be able to deprogram that mind. Because there's a lot of things in that psychology around your mother that are making you feel all the things that you feel. Whatever that she can do, but it has no power over your gift. So we need to take you from the position of feeling like she is in charge and she's in control to where you understand that no one is, because you are a God's force energy to be recognized. But something has happened to you that has made you believe you are not.
Copy that. That makes sense.
Is that making sense?
It makes sense. I'll sit there and keep that one today.
Okay.
Focus on that one.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. How do I end this thing?
You look for an X.
Oh, okay.
Yo, ngamhlanje ku-raft. Bizana abangani benu. Call your friends, call your parents, call your mothers, call your fathers, call the whole family. Today's teachings are deep, guys. Today's teachings are deep. We're talking, and we've never done this life like this today because we've always been focused on things. But I've just opened it up because I feel like we go through so much and we need just a line like this where we just go through everything and not restrict people. All right, let's go to the lines. Refilo, we're coming to you. Wow, it feels like I'm on a show, guys. Who's on the line? Refilo, we're coming to you. Thank you, I really appreciate it. Thank you for the feedback. I'm glad that you guys are here and you're finding it useful and no, call everyone. Tell them they need this. Today we are not alone, we are with many. I want to they are fighting Jesus. Hey, tell them, Guti, you never said he's lost. Yeah, they should stop putting posters. Okay, Refula is not answering, guys. Refula, I don't know what happened to you. She's gone. Okay, let's go to Nombulelo. Help. Please help other kids out. They want to know how to join the line. Okay, Nombulelo is also declining. Okay, Refula is unable to join. I think don't make a request if you are load shedding, ne? That's what it will do. Puluso. Okay, Puluso is here. Puluso is the Bob the Builder one. Yo, Mara, today's life is nice, ne? I'm liking it. I'm liking it for myself. I'm liking it for you. Gumnandi kubale.
Hello,
Hey,
Gogo.
Pop the Builder.
For me, it's I dreamt my grandmother from my mother's side asking me where is her wedding ring.
Yeah.
And then after that, it was the place where I was after she asked me that question. It was so flooded, and I was afraid of going inside the water. But all of a sudden, I went, and I was like, everything was going well until I crossed to the other side. And when I woke up, I wasn't scared, and it was I was feeling like that dream was so real. And I just opened my eyes and I was like, was I dreaming or was it happening or what? And then I went back to sleep. And it's been
you are Bob the Builder when your grandmother saying where's her ring and then she takes you into the water, it shows that she's saying that what happened to the continuation of the things that she's left behind.
Oh my God.
Builder mole. Invite Luna cash build for free. You are busy because the things that you guys have been taught, the rituals and traditions. So she says that, but you've stopped them. Now you are busy building other people's houses who've never asked you to build, but you decided to become MacGyver, Libo Jesus, and save the world instead of actually, saving the family and keeping to the tradition and the cultural practices that Gogo has taught you.
It makes sense. Yeah, I know. Okay,
Good night.
Good night.
Look for an X. Yo, Mr. Sonten, Gumnand Gubala. It's nice to be here. It's nice to be here. Gumnand Gubala. So much depth, guys. So much depth that's coming today. Nombulelo, let's go to you. Oh, now we have loads of people. Refila, I tried to take you. Are you still here? You were. Nombulelo, we're coming. Please be ready. Please help Ulusanda, guys. Help her. Tell her what she needs to do in order to join in the live. Yeah, Coco, haven't I seen you for a consultation? Your face looks familiar.
No.
Oh, okay.
No. I guess I can speak Zulu, right?
Yeah, you can speak Zulu. Yeah.
Yeah. Mina bengihlushwa abantu abadala. I think it's been 19 years now, if I'm not mistaken. And ngaze ngathola usizo 2020 mengaphosisi kwaku 2020 last 2021 yabo mengithola lo mama lo angithwasise lo mama yabo angenzise nje izinto eziningi, and then I keep on having dreams vele ke bengiphupha ke yabo noma samncane bengiphupha nje even amaphupho iphupho elogcina engaba nalo ngaphupha
hayi kokho makancane yabona mina abantu mabathwasile ngibabuyisela kubugobela babo. So ukuphi ugobela wakho? Phela 2021 it's la kokho. Where's your gobela?
Ula Durban, la Durban imlazi.
Okay. So okay, it's isithi la. Ephehlweni awufundanga uku-interpret amaphupho?
No.
Okay. And then mo phupha bowumtshela yini?
Bengimtshela, yes.
Oh, okay. Because angisho Gogo, if because ugobela wakho it becomes your parent, the parent of lesiphiwo lesasithwasisile. So mokuba namaphupho nezinto ezivelayo uvele uthi ngiphupha into eso baba angizwisisi uthwase ini Gogo, it's ingosi thwasa isiZulu noma uthwasisa indawo?
Izulu.
Oh, okay. And bowufanele ukuthi usithwasa isiZulu umphuphile lo muntu okuthwasisile noma usugula kakhulu wasukona ukuthi ungene ephehlweni?
Bese ngigula ngavuka ekseni inyawo ungazizwa ngasakwazi ukuhamba.
Okay.
Bese ngigula.
But that's a sign yomdawo leyo, asiyi sign yesiZulu.
Yeah.
ngicabanga ukuthi
Yena
izinto zakho usaphupha izinto ithi ngikutshela angifuni ukuthi usho amaphupho akho but ngizokutshela isense yami ne uzongitshela uma ngi-right into engiyisensayo mina ukuthi uhambe wayolungisa isiZulu sikulekelelile ngokuphila enyameni philisile for enyameni kodwa umoya ukakaphili akungakaneliseki ngoba ezinye izinto zihoxele emuva ngoba kushoda lo mndawo lo usuhlushwa yilo mndawo ngoba umama ukwenzela isiZulu baneliseka abasekhaya bakupholisa ngoba bowugula everywhere but manje inhlupheko sekulandela yiloyo mndawo yikho kungahlaliseki nezinto zakho nje yanganasena yikho noma usuphumile nokusebenza kokho akukhanyi esikolweni
yo
hayi bengingakubhuli gogo bengikhuluma nje
ngicela ukuthi sivalele live kuningi ukuzofuna ngiyabonga kakhulu gogo thank you so much yo singenze ngaba emotional thank you
okay go so uskeke saje so stop wearing black for who like I said guys it's like we need to not know what if bona bayagcoka guys you know I can say I hardly wear black myself all black but sometimes I do so asingabi abo guys I did say ukuthi singabi you know ask rather why she's wearing what if uzilile you know and mhlambe yena la thwase khona kuyazilwa ngoba uthwase isiZulu esizulwini mo inyanga uyakhona ukuthi uzile yabo ngoba izinto azifanani yabona but lapho ke bengathi ngiyabhula mina bengithi ngiyakhuluma then kwase kusuka ke kube siyabhula lapho yabona yazi good wash I want to take you but I can't pronounce your name that's why it's been difficult for me some names guys use friendlier names sometimes I struggle to take you because I don't know how to pronounce your name and I forget it okay I think I came with 1,000 people because I'm on some other level that and I came simply consultation rates start from 650 but they differ you know because there's online there's uMkhulu, there's me we all don't have the same rates so if you look at the number there and WhatsApp it or visit the website as it states here you'll get all the different rates and you can book what Amy, we don't do dreams here, darling, because I will need to know more. Unfortunately, dreams can come on the call. Luzugo. It is Tatawen. Okay, Luzugo is unable to join. So you need to be to come along. Hello. You need to be 21, but you can be accompanied by your parents at any age. You are welcome to come. I've consulted. But you need to have a parent to consent. Thokoza Luzuko.
Mama, unjani?
Ngiyaphila kunjani?
Nami ndiyaphila. Bendicela ukubuza something.
Okay, go ahead.
Yazi apha ndithanda uphupha umzekelo amaphupha umzekelo uba umuntu endikho close naye ndiphupha into engayenza okanye ndixelele into ezindlebeni like kufuneka lona umzekelo ndimxelele okanye ndingamxeleli okanye ndigcine to myself because abanye bamzekelo ba abazoyithanda xa ndazi izinto ezithile ngabo yabo okanye ndixelele izinto ngabo
angisho lokhu kuya ngokuthi wena nalo muntu relationship injani ngoba ngeke uhambe uxelela bonke abantu izinto zabo yabona ngoba abanye bazobona ngathi uyabasukela so if umuntu close nayo ungamxelela uthi hayi kalokho I had a dream ndithi ndidlulise kungabe ungathi uthi kuye yabo lelithongo lithetha into eso uthi nje ithi ndindlulise ndibonisiwe into eso bendithi ndixelela ndazi ukuthi kuwe izosho ukuthini then allow them to decide what they want to decide but be careful ukuthi i-relationship yakho injani naloyo muntu
in most cases umzali umntana mazina kakhulu maybe nje maybe sazala inyanga okanye 2 months okanye nje yabo ayonto strong that much so like
angisho kunabantu ngamazi for 2 months mina kunabantu mhlambe ndisemithinini bese ndibhodle besathi gogo kwenzakalani ndithi hayi I'm not sure ufuna ndikutshela athi please then bese ndiyamtshela some people would be open but if uyenzakala kakhulu and it disturbs you hamba uye kwigqirha bakhona ukukulungiselela. It's a common sign omuntu ophiwe ukubona izinto zabantu.
Okay, because uswami uhleze ngikhuza sithi ningawaxeleli abantu ezinye izinto senzenze engenzelwanga zinto uyabona. Sithi zonifaka engxakini abanye abantu abakho right abaphandle.
Exactly, especially umuntu mekamdaka uthi kaloku bathi yekela izinto zakho ezimdaka yabo ukuthi uzomcaphisa.
Okay, ke mama. Okay. Hayi benifuna ukwazi into leyo. Okay. So. Okay, exit.
Hi, Peggy X. Hi, Tribe. It's been a nice one. Ndimuvile ndathi yabona ndangena kusizulu ndaphuma ezulu ndangena esiXhoseni ngalokhu ngivile ndithetha isiXhosa mina. So it's been excellent. It's been amazing. It's been beautiful tonight. It was an impromptu live stream, but I am hoping and praying that you got something from it, something useful, something insightful, something educational, something will help you to do better, because as we know better, guys, we at least can do better. You know, even if a better is going and reading on inner child traumas, or a better is paying more attention to our dreams, or a better is, you know, no, can one come before? Nope, you need to be accompanied by a parent. If you are 21 and younger, I need an adult. Hey, because according to us, you are minor. Kaka, please touch on it. Death of one does awaken one into spirituality. That's what happened to me. My sister passed away in 2004, and that's how I was awakened to the healer in me. So it's very common. Yeah, it's very common. Oh, my dreams are not consistent. Consistency. Consistent. Dilo tse ke tse dintšha re ka se di fetša ke re ditaba di ka se fele ke lebogile re tla bonana next week ke kwele topic ba nyangu ba ke touch on spiritual egos but also you can also suggest other topic on my DM. No dreams, no questions, guys, just general questions. Somebody wanted to know about church. Awa KB ake abe ke apa so ke apa kilobedu then ke go bolela apa kilobedu sesi ke di bya ka bobedi tša tsona ke khona apa ke go no bolela ke khona ukhuluma ndiyathetha yabo. Thank you so much. Thank you, Tribe. Thank you. Have a beautiful night. I am African nomazwi ndiyathetha isiXhosa ngiyabulela Sepedi ke dibolela ka mokana tsona. Good night ne re tobonana next week le ska lebala ke le nyaka o book appointment ba bana ba mputšisha mo ke 0742102089. Bomgazi, next time, beloved, please put the area code because we've got Tribe members in the diaspora. Okay, you want me to speak about reincarnation? Okay, good night, bye.
Thank you so much. If you've stayed on and are listening to this message, it means you've watched the entire live stream. And the reason why I didn't want to chop it up or just give highlights or interrupt her throughout was because I thought she was quite insightful. There's a lot of knowledge that was freely given. There was no ego, as she says. She tells her story and she speaks and she's coming from a place, in my opinion, a lot of wisdom that she's carrying. And I almost honestly forgot that I was actually on a live. It felt like it was a masterclass, or it felt like it was a seminar or a radio show. It was really, really good, and I like how she engaged the audience as well and had people coming up. So this is contrary to our previous two videos with Gogo Skoteni and Gogo Maweni, Dr. Maweni, allegedly, who are using their Sangoma or ubungoma or their platform to fight, to cause drama on the internet. As much as it is entertaining, gives us a good laugh, but we walk away knowing absolutely nothing. And with Dineo, I felt empowered in my African spirituality. and just hearing more on the African spirituality and its connection to Christianity. And there's a part where she says, I didn't know how to create my own boundaries. I didn't know how to speak up when I was uncomfortable. And her trauma response is people pleasing or to fight. I find that's huge statement. I resonated a lot with that. And that's a lot of people in societies today that are going through this. And in her message, she says, connect with your inner child, heal your inner child, and then see how it will make a huge difference in your life. I think that is absolutely correct, and it will help with our emotional responses as well. Comment down below and let us know your thoughts on African spirituality and also what you picked up from this live. What was the big highlight for you? Thanks for watching.